Hello and welcome to the studio where we paint away the stress of everyday life here in Wales, UK. So yeah, I went for a walk the other day and it was called what they call the sand dunes. So it was by the sea, but there was a lot of dunes of sand and in Wales there's a lot of bushes, like gorse bushes and things, and excuse me. Oh dear me. There was a lot of like gorse bushes and things like that, and I thought it'd be nice, interesting. So I took a photograph. Let's see if we can do some sort of representation of that scene, I think. So without further ado, let's have a look at the palette.
Hey, welcome, thanks for stopping by. It's time to learn with our friend Clive. So grab your brush, have a great time.
So thank you very much for watching that introduction. So basically I've got some cadmium yellow, some that is ultramarine blue, Naples yellow, Hooker's green, burnt umber, some black and white. I got a bit of a frog in my throat today. So I want a lower horizon because I want a fair bit of sky today, because it was a lovely day. And the sun doesn't shine that often in Wales, so we're going to make the most of it. So that's going to be our sky. We're going to have a bit of sea coming in, and there's going to be a little bit of land, and we're going to have the sand dunes coming in there like that, and just a bit of beach. So it's quite a basic painting. And you know me, I like to get people to paint. I don't like to make things too hard and too complicated for people, especially if you're beginning and you just want to paint something and you want to paint along with me, and I know a lot of you do. So basically I'm just going to get some titanium white. This is a new tube of paint. I've used all my old stuff, so I was quite happy to get a new bit of paint today on the palette. So a little bit of blue, there we go, not a lot, just a little bit of blue on the and white on the brush, same, and we're going to brush that in just like this, and we'll get that white to mix in with our blue. And we get that little of a effect that we want. There we go. A bit more white and a little bit more blue, and we just carry on with that. I want a little bit bluer than that, a little bit more blue. There we go, and just mix that in. So I'm looking for just a basic painting. Sometimes these little easy paintings are a lot better to learn brushstrokes and techniques and all that other stuff, because we don't want to start too complicated with anything really. We need to start with what my father used to say to me, Clive, he said, you should always start with the basics. And the trouble is, a lot of people just want to jump in today and start painting Mona Lisas and stuff like that and other things. So you don't get many people that go into the gym that can automatically go and lift 300 kilos of weights. You're going to start from the beginning and you work your way up over a period of time, and that's the same is to be said with painting. So I know my paintings are quite simple and uncomplicated, but they can be a challenge for the beginner, and that's what it's all about, is getting your teeth into something. And if you're like me and all you want to do is just paint to relax, it doesn't matter what you paint really, does it? I don't paint to sell, and I just paint to come into the studio and get rid of that stress and anxiety that we get on everyday life. There we go. So you can see there's a couple of little patches of blue, there's a couple of little patches of lighter blue. We got this sky coming in quite nice now, and we can add a little bit more blue just into sections like that. A bit of ultramarine blue. It's got a kind of a nice bias to it. Now, what we mean by bias is it leans mainly towards the warmer side of blues. There we go. So we I've just lifted a bit of paint there. Look, see? Sometimes we just, if we're too quick, we can make mistakes like that. But that's okay. It'll dry off, and we'll move that in there like that. So we get a bit of a nice sky, and we want this a little bit lighter down this end, because this is way in the distance, this area there, which is what I want. There we go, nice and light, nice and light. So I get some plain ultramarine blue on my brush with just that tint of white that's left, and I'm just going to follow my line straight across like this. Oops. Use a bit of masking tape or painter's tape or something like that. To get that nice straight line. Right, I'm going to try that once more and hold my breath. There we go. There we are, that's cool. So, nice and dark. I'll do for now. I'll do for now. So, we need to get some sky in now. Some clouds in the sky, I mean, not the sky in. So I'm going to get a little bit of burnt umber. Just going to mix it in with that white like that. Using the same little brush. I'm not sure what brush it is. Look, I'm go old and cronky my brushes are. Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter, does it? So, it's technique. We want to get some clouds in the sky, just using the very tip of the brush. Just like this. Trying to blend that in. There we go. Nice and gently. Now if you want to use two brushes, so get another small brush, whoops, that can stay on the floor. Get another small brush, very, very small brush, there we are. You can just blend that in like this. So we've got clouds. We've got some bigger ones there, just like that. It was one of those days. Is it humulus clouds? I'm not too sure what they call them. I think it was those type of floaty old clouds. Looking at my reference photo. There we go. Just little clouds like that. Sometimes it's good to paint from reference photographs rather than the imagination, because it gives you something to work to. As if you see me looking over to my right hand side, that's exactly what I'm doing. It's just looking at a reference photograph that I took of the day. There we are, just in case you're wondering. And there's no worries about copying other people's works if you want to, as long as you keep it to yourself and you don't sell it or say it's yours. So if you want to practice other people's paintings, you can use mine. You've got my authority to use any of my paintings if you want to. I don't mind. But you have to ask, normally you have to ask permission of the artist or the photographer, really, before you use any artwork. So there's plenty of things online that we can use for free. We've got the authority to use it. There's some lovely people out there that will quite happily go along and paint some. I'm just going to grab some pure white. Take some photographs and things, or even allow you to copy their paintings. So have a look online if you're struggling for ideas and things like that. So just a little bit of highlight on those clouds like that. Back in with your blending brush and fluff them up like that. There you go. So some nice clouds. You can put as many of them in as you want. The closer you get to the horizon, the more distant they look, the smaller they become. So you could put a few of them in just like that. Just dragging the brush along, because there's not a lot of detail in those There we are, get it again with the brush. Just go on the bottom there, just to smooth those lines off like that. So it looks as if we've got, so I'm not going to do any more clouds, actually I will. I want to put another cloud formation. Just there like that. Take your time, enjoy the process, and before you know it, you become a master artist. Yes, so let's concentrate now on a little bit of sand and stuff like that. Let's just get our brush, same brush. There we are. So let's get some sandy colour. So we got a little bit of this Naples yellow, a bit of burnt umber. Look at that colour. Looks quite sandy, doesn't it? Nice dark colour. Okay, let's put a bit of this in. Just like this. Over that blue. There we are. Because it's sand under the sea. Obviously. See. Just merge that in like that. A little bit of moisture on the brush. Blending all that together like that. Gives a little bit of colour to that water as well. And let's get this sand colour down here like this. A bit more moisture. Don't be afraid to use a little bit of water. Small amounts. It's the same when you mix paint, really. You always mix. Always put your dark to your lighter colour. Don't never put your light to your dark colour. Always put your light colour down first, and then add small amounts. Small amounts, because you can always add, but you can't take away. So if you made your colour a little bit winky wonky, so if your colours are a little bit wrong, then my advice is just to put it one side and forget about it, because you might need that colour, believe it or not. Don't go losing temper and scraping it off a palette and chucking it in the bin, because if you've made a funny colour, even if it's a dirty colour, because you can make what they call in painting terms, you can make mud. So you can make a muddy colour. Always keep it, because you never know. It could be useful. And if it isn't, then you can put it in the bin. Never chuck anything away. I never do anyway. So let's add a little bit of white to that colour now. There we go, just like that. Boosh, boosh, boosh. Bring a bit of light down, because we want some highlights in this sand. And I'm just going to take that across there, because I'm going to put other stuff there. So I just want to put a bit of colour in, just to separate that off just a touch like that. So now I'm going to put my burnt umber, Naples yellow together. I'm going to try and put a little landmass there, a little dark colour. There you can see it. Just using the edge of this brush, same brush. I've only used two brushes so far. So the sand dunes were in the distance as well. And they were down there like that. Whoosh. But we did have, according to my photograph, quite a big sand dune in the foreground, and I was coming down like that. Get some of that nice dark colour. So this is the sea. You've got the British Channel, which flows up, like you've got Wales here, you've got Wales is there like this, going into the the Atlantic, and then you've got Britain coming down, and you've got this little channel on the side. This channel goes all the way. It's the Severn Estuaries called. And this is what that is. It's the estuary rather than the sea. Just in case you were wondering. Okay, let me get this back down. There, like that. A little bit darker. Don't forget, add a little bit at a time, because that's going to be in shadow there. And that's going to merge out like that. Let's get a bit more sand. That comes up. A bit more shadow. And that comes down. Just like that. So get a bit more shadow there now. So let's just get my little tiny brush, because I want to put a little bit of shadow in with a smaller brush. There we go. Put some highlights in a minute. So you can see. Let me just maybe let me think. Let's put some. Just want to lighten that up a bit over there. There you go. That's looking nice. We got the seas. The sea's going to be coming in there. We could put a couple of rocks and things in, I suppose. We could. I'm just thinking about what I can do there now. Let's get a little bit of green. Nice light colour green. There we go. I want to put a couple of bushes and things, maybe just in the background like that. I told you about these gorse bushes and things, and this like reed grass type of stuff. So it's basically what I'm trying to do there, is get that bit of colour in the background there. So what we need to do now, just check my cameras are all working. There we go. What we need to do now is get this bit of white. I want to put some breakers in, so we need the breakers to come this way, so I need a little bit of touching it like that. Maybe we use this brush. This is the thin brush, so I've changed the brush now, because I want to get a nice thin. I had a really nice brush, and it was so sharp, it was lovely, absolutely lovely. But it died. It died. And it's gutting when you got a brush which you really love and you've had for years and years and years. It's like having a best friend, to be honest. It's really upsetting when that happens and you've got to break a new brush in. There we go. Nice distant. Let's get our brush. So this water would never go higher than I'm painting now. So that's why the sand dunes exist, because they never get washed away unless there's an extremely high tide, which is very unlikely. But with the way the weather is today, we don't know these things, so it could possibly happen. But the sand dunes, nature's a wonderful thing. It looks after itself, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do is just dry that brush off with a bit of kitchen oil. I want to get that. Just to float under there like that. That watermark coming in. Just like that. Get a bit of blue. Maybe a bit of burnt umber. Let's put some shadows just under that, those wavelets there like this. Boom, 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 boom. Get a nice thin coat of white paint. This brush is not as good as my other one. And they do all these foam patterns then, but you get with that sea effect. Just like that. And you can go to town with all these details. I'm not going to bother too much. Let's just get a glob of white paint just on the top of my brush, and because these are not really big waves. They're just a little. The tide could be going out actually, couldn't it? Maybe just say the tide is going out. I'm not sure what time of day this was. I'd imagine it was about midday anyway when I took this photograph. So. And this is the type of thing I would do. I'd take my little French easel with me and I'd sit on the beach and I'd be happily painting away, and somebody would come up to me and say, "God, that's nice. How much?" I don't know. What do you think? Because I don't, some people charge by the inch and all that. I just charge by, well, I don't know. Give me 30 quid, 40 quid, whatever you are happy with, I'll be happy with. Because at the end of the day, it was only going to go in the bin anyway. So because I got all my YouTube videos to remember my paintings by. So, and I don't keep every painting, unfortunately. That's just how it works. There you go, that'll be okay. Are we happy with that? I think we are. I think we are. Let's get some green. Oh, let's just put some green like that. Maybe a bit of green there, because like I said, the sea doesn't come up this far, so when we put a little bit of there we go, a little bit of highlight there and there like that. Maybe it's a little bit tucked down in there. Maybe there's a few little bits of grass just tucked like that as well. We get our script line and brush, and then we put some tufts of grass in, just like this. Some darker green. Don't know if you could hear that helicopter. There's a helicopter just went over. Wonder what he's looking for. There we are. Let's get some green, bit of black. I'm not going to do gauze bushes and things because those reeds and things like that. There we go. I could go to town. Let's put a couple of rocks in. Maybe there wasn't any rocks there, but I'm just going to do a couple of rocks anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Have a bit of fun. Let your imagination run wild with you. There we go. Just going to put a couple of rocks in the grass like that, or in the sand. And what we need on rocks, it needs a bit of highlight. So we get some highlight just on those rocks, like that. Bed that in with a bit of sand. And maybe just put a little bit of grass just in the front like that, just to give it a little bit of depth, just to pull your eye in a bit like that, because that side is quite thingy. And then we have to.
Hey, welcome, thanks for stopping by.
See what's in.
It's time to learn with our friend Clive.
There we are. I hope you enjoy that one, because I certainly did. And thank you very much for joining me today.
And don't forget
to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and all that. Bye.